Hello and welcome to another writing vlog. I have been writing nonstop for days and I'm making so much progress with my novel and I am almost 75% of the way done with draft 3. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie and I'm writing my very first book, which I am calling Project Lily. I love recording these vlogs when I reach major milestones. It's a great way for me to keep track of my progress and to celebrate. And this vlog's gonna be about reaching 75,000 words and you're just gonna spend the next few days with me as I do it. I am currently at 73,000 words, so I only have 2,000 more words to go. So it's either gonna be today or tomorrow that I reach it. If I do reach it tonight, I'm still gonna record tomorrow because I'm just really in the zone with this writing. And I think a large part of it is I just finished this really important scene and I have just been working on it so hard and for so long. And I always get extra motivated when I get towards the end of a novel just because I finally see the end. And especially with this book, I've always had a really clear picture of how it's gonna end. So it's so much easier for me to write and figure out all the details as opposed to like the middle of the book, which was a little more muddy in terms of plot and character development. So I was kind of like on the last little stretch before I finish. I can't believe I'm this far along. I've only been working on this draft for about 2 months and I'm just really happy with the progress I've made thus far. So it is the morning and the first thing I'm gonna do this morning is review the chapter I wrote last night. It's chapter 30 and it's a very long chapter, so it's gonna take some time, but when I finished it last night, I literally finished it at like 10:45 p.m. and I was just like, I'm going to bed. Also, it is a very emotional scene, plot heavy. There's just so much going on in this one chapter that like it really took it out of me last night. Like I felt drained after writing it. And this morning I want to come at it with a fresh perspective and edit it. That's what I've been doing for this draft, is writing a chapter or rewriting a chapter and then going back and editing it, making sure it makes sense, making sure the grammar is good and I have everything in there that I need. One thing I will be doing this morning to this chapter is kind of fixing the direction I took with a character. I had started it and it was the plan and I really liked it, but then as I got to the end of the chapter, I didn't really like what I had thought was a good idea. I didn't like it anymore. And so now I want to go back and kind of change the character's perspective in that chapter. I'm gonna go ahead and do that before lunch and then I will catch back up with you and let you know what's next. I had a very productive day so far today. I finished editing chapter 30 and it's a long one. It ended up being about 3,600 words, which is very long for my book. As I said, I think I said earlier that it's a chapter there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of action, my character has to process a lot of things. So I think it's just gonna be one of those chapters that happens to be very long. You know, there's always 1 or 2 of those in a book, but I'm really happy that's done. And I did end up working on it past lunch just because it was so long I couldn't finish it before lunch. I did take a break to go to the store and run errands. I have to bring a bottle of wine for Thanksgiving, so I did get that. And Thanksgiving's in like 2 days. And then I came back and I started on chapter 31. And so far that's going pretty well. I've already written about a page of chapter 31 and I still have quite a bit more to do on this one, but I think it may go a little faster in terms of I'm going to be recycling dialogue from draft 2. So in chapter 30, I pretty much made everything up from scratch because I wanted to redo this chapter. I wasn't happy with kind of how I had put things in draft 2, so chapter 30 was like a complete reinvention for the character in terms of plot and her development. And so now I'm into chapter 31. I'm gonna start, this is where act 3 sort of begins, and we're moving into more of the parts of the draft that are going to stay consistent from draft to draft. I think from this point forward, I'm going to be recycling a lot of what I had in draft 3 and just making it better. I will have to incorporate some new elements and kind of rewrite some parts of it, but I think for the most part, it's going to be back to kind of the way I've been doing most of this draft, which is editing chapters and taking what I already have, making it better, adding in some things. The last few days, I've kind of been writing more than editing, and it's time to go back to editing now. Anyways, it's 5 p.m. and it's super dark out and I'm starting to get hungry. So I'm gonna make some dinner and then jump back into chapter 31. Done for the evening. I also made a lot of progress tonight, which is really amazing. My total word count for today was 1,257, which isn't a lot, but you have to keep in mind that I was editing an entire chapter today. When I edit, I don't really add or subtract many words, so it's essentially 0. And my total word count for this book is 74,360. I am so incredibly close to 75,000 words. So close. I almost hit it tonight, but I didn't. But that means I will definitely hit it tomorrow. I maybe could have also made a little more progress tonight if I didn't have a giant continuity error in my story. I had written some stuff that had happened, and later on I had the character doing something, and I had the sudden realization that it couldn't happen because of something that had happened earlier in the chapter. Like logistically, logically, it wasn't possible. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then I had to sit there and think of a solution of how to get my character to be in the state where she could do that thing. And it took forever to figure out how to do it. And then when I did do it, I really wasn't happy with what I came up with, but it was definitely just like a placeholder scenario. And I was like, this is definitely something I need to go back and revisit. I just had to come up with something because this really interrupted my flow and I wanted to keep writing tonight. So I just threw something on the paper and called it good enough and continued. That was really the only holdup I had tonight. Other than that, my writing has been going pretty smoothly. And tomorrow I will pick chapter 31 back up and hopefully finish that and reach 75,000 words. Good evening. It is quite late at night for me. It's about 10:30, and I definitely spent a little bit longer tonight writing than I thought I would. But the reality was I really didn't get much writing done for most of the day. I had ballet class this morning, and typically on ballet class days, I spend the whole morning in ballet, so I don't have time to write. So I woke up early and wrote for like 20 minutes, and then that was it. And then in the afternoon, I ended up having to do quite a lot of admin stuff, which is really boring, but sometimes you gotta make time for that. And I didn't really sit down and write till about 4 p.m. So I started off today working on chapter 31, and I did finish it at some point this evening, and I decided to go back and edit the chapter, which is what I do. And I was so close to finishing the editing on this chapter. I was like, I just wanna finish it. And normally I try to stop around 10, but at 10, I was only about halfway through the chapter, and I was just like, I'm gonna do it because I wanna start a new chapter tomorrow. So I did finish editing chapter 31, it's done. This chapter was around 2,500 words, which is spot on. That's kind of exactly where I like to be. And I did reach 75,000 words total for my manuscript, which means I am 3/4 of the way done. I'm actually at 75,723. That was the biggest accomplishment I had today, and I was very excited about it. I've decided to go ahead and continue this vlog tomorrow just because I've reached 75,000, but I haven't gone past 70, like I haven't gone to 76,000 yet, and that's easily doable tomorrow. Also, YouTube really holds me accountable in terms of writing. And tomorrow is the day before Thanksgiving, and I will be having to do some getting ready for Thanksgiving stuff. But if I go into the day knowing that I have to record a video, I'm going to make more of an effort to write. And I think it's really important, especially because I am so close to the end of this book. So I'm gonna go get some sleep because I have to actually wake up really early tomorrow because I need to go to the grocery store, and not for Thanksgiving stuff. I just need food. So that's gonna be a fun adventure, and I decided to wake up early and go to the store as soon as I can to avoid people. And so I'm gonna do that as soon as I wake up, and then I'll get back to writing after that. Good afternoon. I am possibly done writing for the day. This has been kind of a crazy day, and it didn't go as expected. I went to the grocery store this morning, and I woke up early, and my plan was to get to the grocery store at about 8 o'clock. There was already an accident on the road, which took a lot longer to get to the grocery store than I thought. And then when I was there, it was just crazy. I wanted to get some B-roll and show like some cute clips of me shopping, and that I just wanted to get out of there. I just needed to leave the grocery store. But I got all my food, so I'm set for the next few days and when I come back from Thanksgiving. And I actually didn't get started writing right away. I just started chapter 32, and the problem I kind of have with this chapter is it's a filler chapter. So I had 2 really big chapters that were big in length and big in emotions and things happening. And then I have some more things happening in the chapter after this. And so I wanted a chapter in between that kind of got them physically from point A to point B, like physically and emotionally, but then also I wanted a chapter that was just kind of like a breather in a sense. And I needed to plan it out. Like I knew a few things that had to happen, but I didn't know how they were going to happen. Like, you know, the characters had to make a few decisions. They need to get ready to do something new, and like what gets them to do all this stuff. So I spent quite a bit of time actually sitting on the couch just thinking, pacing around my apartment. I like to pace, that helps me think. And I came up with some ideas for it, and then I sat down to write. So I really did not start writing until this afternoon, and I've only been at it for like an hour and a half, and I'm already ready to stop. And I'm gonna be honest, my mind is just not in this. I cannot focus. I cannot stop thinking about Thanksgiving, which is tomorrow, and all the stuff I have to do. And typically before I leave my house for any period of time, I like to have it clean, so that way I come back to a clean apartment. So I've been like cleaning in the, you know, in between, and then thinking of things I need to do. I also like to pre-cook some meals, so that way when I come home, if I come home at mealtime, I'll have something readily available and I don't have to worry about making something or leaving again to go back out and get something. And so I just have all this stuff going on in my mind, and it's so hard to concentrate when you have so many external factors going on in your life. Sometimes this just happens where you have too much on your mind and you can't concentrate. This has happened to me before. And really what I found when this happens is it's just best for me to stop writing. I can push through if I needed to or wanted to, but my quality of writing is a lot poorer. It takes me a lot longer to formulate in my head what I want to put on the paper. And sometimes I do believe it's faster just to wait until a moment where I am able to get in a flow state rather quickly. So I decided to stop. I may write tonight if I get everything I need to done and I have some extra time and my mind is more calm. I may sit down and write for another 30 minutes or an hour, but I probably won't write again for another 1 to 2 days, definitely not tomorrow. And that's why I wanted to write today, so I could see if I could keep my streak going. I've been writing every day for over a month. It's like a month and 5 days. I've written every single day. And I love keeping the streak going. I'm happy with what I did today. It's good enough. I wrote 1,010 words, and that brought me to a total of 76,700 words, getting closer and closer to the end of this novel. It's really exciting, and I can't wait to write the rest of it because I just think it's so fun, and it's just, there's so much more, you know how the end of a book is, there's so much more action and crazy things are happening. And I can't wait to write that and edit that again. That's all I have for today. Thank you for joining me for a few days in the life of a writer, and I will see you in the next writing vlog.